Hello. My presentation is not very cool. Don't have a black background, white writing, but very colourful, so I hope you find it interesting. Before I talk about the how to develop a patient-friendly clinical audit report, which you should all have in your packs, I wanted to introduce you to the Service User Network, of which we have 3 members here today. The Service User Network was established in 2009 to help with our first publication, which was the criteria and indicators in best practice in clinical audit. So we found members through the Royal Colleges, the National Voices, which is one of our parent organisations, and local audit networks. We have over 40 members, and they are interested individuals who are interested in improving our healthcare at the national and local level. So the Sun, in their role as an advisory group for HQIP, they initiated the idea of producing a guide to help our NCAPOPs make more patient-friendly versions of their reports. So we put a working group together, and we developed this short guide. We used 2 case studies: the National Joint Registry, which had just completed their first publication, which I think you have the second one on your tables, and Diabetes UK, who were just about to embark on their first publication. So actually what we did with Diabetes UK was follow the process through a blog, which you can find on our website. And there's the guide. So in case any of you still need convincing, why is it important that these reports are available for patients? Well, it's important that they have this transparency and making that information available for patients so they can make comparisons between standards of care, and the more increased knowledge that they have, the more control they have over their own care. So here is an example of how clinical audit can be explained. So this is from Diabetes UK. Standard, all people living with diabetes should receive 9 healthcare checks a year. The clinical audit, where they examined 83% of GP practices in England. And then the results. And these results give patients the knowledge, okay, that's the kind of care that they should be receiving, and question their GP if necessary. So back to the case studies. So NJR also, and Diabetes, they both produced posters as well to complement their reports. And with the NJR, they have 5 different procedures that they collect results on, and they're colour-coded, which also corresponds with their guide. And the Diabetes found 4 main points that they wanted to put on their poster. Oh, some animations here. I forget that I did that. The consultant outcomes publication, which Becca's going to talk about, she worked with the Service User Network and put together this. It was all about putting together simplified graphs and charts. So she worked with them, and we have a chart design checklist that she developed with the Sun, and she'll go into that in more detail. Another example is National Audit of Schizophrenia, and they've added key facts, just breaking down the national audit into these bullet points here. I should actually say that as well as Stroke winning the award for the partnership category with service users and patients at our HQIP Clinical Audit Awards, National Audit of Schizophrenia and Diabetes were also nominees. And this is actually the most recent diabetes audit publication. And they work with a service user group, and they've got a glossary which is really useful for those technical terms. And if you work with your service users, this is the sort of thing they might say they'd like to hear more about, so more information where they can go. This is quite an old one from RCP, but I quite like it because having worked with their service users, they realised it was important to just break down the clinical audit into just a few points, and I have one here actually. I have examples of these here which you're welcome to have a look at. They broke it down to a few parts, so what was audited, who was involved, and what did it show, and these are the key recommendations and useful contacts. And Stroke, which we'll hear more from James, but they've put together an easy read version, so This is the simplified graphics, and it's just broken them down into good and poor results. And finally, epilepsy 12. And they not only did their audit on 12 standards for children and young people services, but they also had a survey that they did with patients and families. And so they have a perspective that they put in their report here. The foreword is written by a mother of a child who has diabetes, which is just immediately a way of introducing and inviting patients to read their report, because it shows it's welcoming, it's about them. And also they have what can you do? It's always really important to have a link to where you can find the full report and where they can get more information. Okay, so hopefully, I noticed that Rob said you all have patient and public involvement. I hope you all do. But if you don't already, here are some ways that you can find patients and service users to help you develop your report. It's so important that you do it in partnership with patients and service users. So often within your organisations, you'll have groups already established, such as the RCP, who have a patient involvement unit, and you could work with them, you can use contacts through them. The condition area that you work with will most certainly have a national charity that you can link in with, such as the British Heart Foundation, who link in with MindApp. You can work with these charities to disseminate information for consultation purposes, or you can find service users to come and join your project teams, your steering groups. There might be organisations such as Diabetes UK who have a huge service user group, and they have different groups that are involved in different areas, such as, I think they've got 5 different diabetes audits, and they have groups that are involved in those areas. Or you put together a working group, which is what we did. So we have the comms officer, the NCAPOP officer, and myself as working with Sun to put together the report. When you want to find patients to come and work on these projects, it's probably important for them to have a basic understanding of clinical audit. So we have this online training that you can find on our website. The first is a very introductory session, just a basic training, and then we have 4 that follow the 4 stages of clinical audit. But you have to remember that when you're making this report, it is for people, it has to be accessible and friendly to all. So you want to make sure that it's not for those people that are understanding clinical audit. So user testing is really important. For example, with the NJR, it's been a work in progress. So now they've got their 3rd publication coming out this year, and there's been changes made as they've got feedback from the first reports. That's it from me, but I just wanted to, there's probably some of you out there who already have patient-friendly reports that I don't know about. I'd like to be able to showcase them on our website, and we're always looking for case studies. So if I can find out about your processes and put it up there, having best practice available for everyone would be really helpful. So, are there any questions?